Hello and welcome to this screencast about creating interactive activities, and the particular focus of this one will be about developing your students' vocabulary. So we'll start off by highlighting the need for classes to be interactive and also introduce practical ways of developing students' vocabulary. As you watch this screencast, the screencast will stop and you will be asked at various points to think about certain questions before we move on. So first of all, why make classes interactive? Well, there's a lot of evidence that it creates greater student engagement. There's also better assimilation of the class content the more involved the students are in the classes. And it also leads to more student collaboration, so students working together. So the idea of making classes interactive is not to create lots of extra work for you. It's really about adapting the existing input and materials that you use in your classes and lectures and making them interactive. So for example, you may already use glossaries. You obviously create PPT slides for when you're giving lectures. You may use a textbook, and depending on your subject area, you may use case studies. So today we're going to focus on what we can do with glossaries. So what can we do with a glossary? Here is an example of a glossary from a business subject area. And we can obviously put this on our VLE page, on the module VLE page, and show the students where it is, and they can access it like that. But there's also lots of other things that we can do with something like a glossary. So I'm going to talk about a matching activity using the Business Vocabulary Glossary. So you can take this glossary that we just looked at, and then instead of just presenting it as a whole, as it is here and as it might be on your VLE page, you can take a copy, a hard copy, and then cut up the words themselves and then the definitions. And then you give these to students. They can work in groups where you give them the words and the definitions, but they're all in the wrong order. So this means that they have to read the definition, read the words themselves, and discuss with their group members which is the best match. So that's one type of activity. Another one is where you give the students the vocabulary. This is good for revising vocabulary. So you give them cards with the vocabulary on, and one of the students has to define the word, and the other students guess. So one person, for example, may say it's something that every new business person needs if they're going to start a business, and hopefully one of the other students will guess business plan. So they can continue like that with any amount of vocabulary, and as I say, very good for revising vocabulary that they already know. Another possibility is comparing definitions. So You might ask students to find definitions, so not related specifically to the glossary, but they can find definitions themselves. They can go online and they'll find lots of definitions of the same thing. So in this case, again, a business plan. You can ask them to look these up on their phone or on their laptop and then compare the definitions again with other groups. So if they're working together in a group to try and find a definition, then they compare with other groups. So there are lots of apps and websites that are available that give you ideas about how to make classes more interactive. So there is Quizlet, for example, which enables you to do vocabulary exercises online. There is a website called Thought.co, which again gives lots of useful tips and ideas for exercises. And there is Socrative, which again is kind of similar to Quizlet but allows you to set up quizzes. So you may have further questions or comments around this subject, or perhaps you've got ideas that you want to share with other teachers. If so, you can go to the forum that has been set up on the NTIC Tutor induction page. The link has already been sent to you for this, and post questions or read what other people have put there. Thank you for listening.